Hey guys, Chris Benetti here, and I am with my good friend Stephen Larsen, or Steve Larsen, as he's now commonly known. Um, we just really wanted to jump on here and talk to you guys about what has been coming up. Now, Steve contacted me a few months ago and was like, Chris, I've got a crazy idea, and you're not going to get sick, but if you did and you couldn't work anymore, what would you do to basically replace your income or earn the income that you want to earn without having to work anymore? And if you did work, you're going to die pretty much. So I was like, oh crap, it better be something good, right? So anyway, Steve came up with an awesome narrative, and him and I did an amazing interview. He went down the path of doing this with, was it like 20 other people or something like that?
Yeah, 30. I asked 100, but a lot of people, I mean, this is not an easy prompt. So I'm not gonna lie, there was a group of people that was just like, dude, I'm not even gonna try to answer that. I don't know. And they just didn't even come back. So I'm glad you said, yeah, man.
Dude, yeah, well, it was a ton of fun. And I'm just like I was literally for 3 weeks, just like, how do I even come up with something that's like relevant or that could, because it's so hard to think about like not working for the next 30, 50 years of your life when, you know, us as entrepreneurs are like, how hard can we hustle, or like how hard can we jam on this thing and like change the world. And it's just like, it's one of those narratives where you're just like, far out, man, I don't want to stop, almost. Like, we don't want to stop. and just being told that we'll blatantly die if we don't. So
kind of intense.
it was fun to go through that narrative and just like come up with like, here's something cool that we could work with. So anyway, Steve, why don't you tell them a little bit about this summit, and I'll ask you a few questions around some of the speakers and stuff after you do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started this whole thing when I was watching Russell do the 30 days summit. The 30 days thing, his whole thing was like, how would you get it back if you lost it? How could you get it back in 30 days? And I was like, I love that angle, but I kind of want to go the other direction. Like, what would you do if you knew you were about to lose it? And kind of go the other way with it. And so that's kind of where this came from. Is for the first little while, I was like, we're gonna call it the offer summit. And then I was like, man, that hook sucks. That's not a hook, So it's like I spent several days trying to think up like some kind of cool, crazy scenario, a what if scenario. And it worked, and I'm grateful that you said yes to it. So I know it's a hard question, it's an intense question, but we had a lot of amazing responses. And just so everyone knows, like Chris and I did this together like 6 months ago. I mean, it was a long time ago, way before all the crap economically it's going down even started. And
what a time to release it though, right?
Yeah, it didn't fit in my timeline to put it out then. And but
it just worked.
It's really kind of an applicable thing for nowadays. So yeah,
totally.
Coming up.
So I want to know, man, what were some of the craziest answers you got from some of the speakers?
A lot of people said they would continue to do what they are now, but it would require some specific changes in their company. So we were able to go in and dive into that and say like, well, what kind of changes would you really need? So that was the fun part about it for me, is listening to all 30 of them. Like, there's a pattern here. There's a pattern for how you all are answering. There's a pattern for all the things you're saying. And it was I don't know, I will continue to do the summit, I'm sure, more and more, because selfishly, it was awesome to hear answers like this.
Yeah, well, I feel as though like most people just love what they do anyway, like on a day-to-day basis. Like we're not building like slave businesses. We're building like stuff that we actually enjoy, that are impacting the world and stuff like that. So having that, like, I would still do what I'm doing, but like I would need to build this in place, or like that in place, or I need to outsource this, and just like having that level of creativity. I feel as though every single, one of the 30 people would have something that is like, I need to set this up on automation, and here's sort of how I would do that process. So all of the interviews and all of the summit, essentially you're going to get pretty much a deep dive into the brains of like 30 geniuses and how they would automate their businesses so that they never have to work again, which is pretty much like, we love going out there and impacting the world, but working 12-hour days every single day is like, it's not really a cool lifestyle after a few weeks.
It's true.
So I think it's
that's so true. Yeah.
Sorry, you go.
Oh no, I was gonna say, yeah, we've got a lot of awesome big people on there. Yourself, Sharfin's coming, Blake Newbar, Amanda Dake, Allison Prince, Joel Irway, which is awesome. Um, David Asarno, Brian Delaney. It's a lot of, it's a fun group. A lot of person. Actually, one of is one of Dan Kennedy's ghostwriters. He and I have become good friends lately, and he came on and shared what his final offer would be. It's been a fun thing. So it's yeah, and your answer, everyone else's, just really, it's not an easy prompt, and I think that's the reason why we have a lot of people registering for it right now, but because it's a what if scenario that all of us can't avoid. At some point, we will all have to answer this question. Crap, how am I going to fund myself? Like whether you're old or something happens in life, or you just like, hey, I don't want to work anymore. Let's go for straight lifestyle. Like I feel like this is the actual literal application of the 4 Hour Work Week book.
I love that, dude. Well, that's like pretty much the pinnacle book for like most of us who are starting out. That and like Rich Dad series, right? Like those things, like the jam, like the best things when you're starting.
Gateway drug.
Dude, yeah. So I love the whole like concept behind like how can you basically bulletproof your business and like do it before you have to, like that whole concept, and just thinking about that and just like creating that narrative in your own mind right now is just such a valuable process to go through. And like having that in place before you actually need it, or before like 30 days and you're screwed sort of like we are, is such a fantastic thing to do, because it's just going to like help your business for the long term, because you're always going to be thinking those 2 steps ahead of pretty much all of the competition anyway. So I highly recommend you go through every single speaker. I think there's recordings that you can get access to. Just get that access, watch the videos, take notes like a madman, because you're going to just have so many crazy ideas from every single person. There's going to be, Steve, you're pretty diverse in the speaker choice. So there's going to be like speakers that you relate with a lot more than others. And so you'll be able to sort of pick and choose, like, I want to maybe do a bit of this and a bit of that. And like this person aligns with me in terms of their business ideas and stuff like that. So it's going to really almost sort of put the groundwork into like creating a sustainable business for you that is going to be such a valuable asset for you for years and years to come. So I love the whole idea. And it sort of like started off as this silly quirk, but then it like thinking about it so much more, it's just such a genius idea, man. And I think it's going to be so relevant to everyone who's listening to it.
Oh man, I'm excited. I'm stoked that you got on here. You built such a cool business where very few people pull off agency. I feel like the way you've done it, you have brilliant business, brilliant thing. You very quickly, your name was among the top of the people who were like, we need Chris Benetti to come on the summit. So I'm just grateful you said yes. Everyone go click on his link. It's somewhere on around here, and go jump in the summit.
Well, thanks for that, man. Thanks for joining me today. And guys, seriously, click the link. It's free to join the summit, right? For the live.
Yep.
So you're literally not going to lose anything. You'll probably be up for like 48 hours straight thinking and watching the videos. So just get the recordings, but it's a ton of value. And Steve, thank you so much again for having me on the summit itself. And dude, I can't wait to see where this thing goes over the next few months.
Awesome stuff, man. Thanks for joining in.
That's my pleasure.